New vehicle prices are out of control, folks, and that's especially true for trucks and SUVs. We're seeing well-optioned vehicles priced too close to the six-figure mark, and some are even well over that $100,000. And the result, dealers can't sell trucks and SUVs. They are rotting on lots all across the country and putting brands like Ford, Chevy, and GM at risk of total collapse. And you guys, picture this. You're roaming around the annual auto show surrounded by all this shiny new stuff. Something like Ford Expedition catches your eye and you think, hey, maybe this could be my next ride. Then you see the starting price at nearly 62 grand. Reasonable? It's a lot, but maybe you could swing it. But then you dig a little bit deeper and you find the actual price is closer to 70K plus once you factor in freight, common options. And if you can believe this, it's still happening. Dealer markups, affordable, not even close. And if you want an optioned out King Ranch edition or something, you're starting at nearly 86,000 bucks with fees. And then there's dealer's options and interest rates because you're probably not paying cash. And before you know it, you have spent well over $100,000 for a family car. That is just too much. So you aim a little bit lower. Take the Explorer, for example, the base model starting at allegedly around 41K, but good luck finding one at that price. Nation searches reveal the cheapest models start at around 50,000 bucks. And this isn't just a Ford thing. Jeep's latest Grand Wagoneer, MSRP is a cool 110,000. Chevy Silverado 2500 High Country, nearly 80,000 bucks. Nearly 88,000 bucks. These are prices that make you question whether these automakers think their customers are an oil tycoon or just lottery winners. So why are prices so high? Well, let's dig into these prices. A few things really do stand out. And guys, real quick, do you love supercars, epic road trips, and exclusive automotive perks? Well, then you are going to love the Ideal Collective. For a limited time, you can sign up for free. Yes, free, and secure a spot to get entered into our first Ideal Card giveaway. Hurry up, pinned in the first comment is your link. Click it and then, well, get signed up. Enjoy the rest of the show. First is loaded features and trim packages, because today's trucks come packed with luxury features. You know, leather seats, heated and cooled seats, massive touchscreens, advanced safety systems. That all jacks up the price for something we just want to haul a bed in. While these bells and whistles are nice to have, they're just far from the essentials for people who just need a reliable workhorse. Now, yes, I get it. It's true. You can totally find a stripped down model for cheaper, but that sweet spot sort of middle of the road spec has gotten harder and harder to find. Plus, you still got those supply chain issues. The global chip shortage in the last couple of years and supply chain disruption from COVID era and these new tariffs driven up the production costs of these new 2025 and 2026 models. Plus, automakers are focusing on high margin vehicles, leaving budget friendly options by the wayside. Then you also have the ADMs or dealer markups. Who loves those? No one. Yes, dealers know that trucks are in demand and they're not shy about adding hefty markups to desirable models. I'm still seeing $50, $70, $80,000 of dealer add-ons or markups. And Ram in particular is in very hot water right now. Their lots are overflowing with unsold inventory from 2022, 2023, 2024. And this year, well, they're all gathering just dust. That's insane. The lot rot is nuts. And prices for Ram 1500 start at about 42 grand, which yeah, is a decent price, but check out some of these options and packages and you're footing the bill for 90K plus for a truck. And don't even get me started on the 25 and 3500s, because with a few boxes checked on the spec sheet and dealer markup often gets the MSRP well into the 100K plus range. Even with Ram's recent campaign that discounts 10 to 20,000 bucks off, these trucks are just sitting unsold. Why, you ask? I think you know why. Because they priced out their core demographic, the working class. Financial experts recommend spending no more than 15% of your monthly income on a car loan. For an $80,000 truck, that means you're earning 150K plus a year, a figure far above the average American's annual paycheck and way more than I make as a YouTuber. And a lot of these brand new trucks aren't even desirable to some. The new Ram 1500 in particular has ditched the V8. To a lot of buyers, that's a Ram without a Hemi, brother. And then there is Fix or Repair Daily. Ford, yes, whose dealerships across the country are also dealing with a massive inventory problem. Rows upon rows of F-150s, F-250s, and F-350s are looking like a rock and not moving at all, with many of them priced well above 100,000 bucks. Take the Black Widow package, for example. These lifted trucks equipped with premium add-ons start at $100,000 and go up to $130,000. At one lot, there's a $147,000 Super Duty truck, and they were double parked in shrubbery, and even spilling into neighborhood lots. And let's not forget the smaller trucks like the Ford Ranger. Despite being a more compact and affordable truck starting at around 34 grand, for higher trims, you're gonna start at 48 before options. Why would anyone buy a Ranger when they could just move up to an F-150 that starts at around 40 grand? That is internal sabotage. Even Ford smaller SUVs and crossovers are pricing themselves out of reach. A plug-in hybrid Escape, for example, now starts at 47,000 bucks. These prices are pushing potential buyers to competitors like Honda and Toyota, who continue to offer proven and arguably more affordable alternatives. Now, there is another dilemma in this room, and that is the fiasco with EVs. You see, while the companies and government would tell you that EVs are booming more than they ever have, in reality, this past year, several companies, including American brands we've mentioned, have scaled back their EV production due to lack of demand. Of course, there are companies like Ford that do sell things like the Mustang Mach-E well, better than the actual Mustang, if you believe it. But GM and Stellantis, well, they don't really have a knock your socks off, generally affordable EV like the Mach-E. I mean, Chevy has the Blazer EV, but those start at nearly 50 Gs, almost 15K more than a Mach-E's starting price. And Stellantis, they have a new Wagoneer S that's electric, but that's gonna start at like 70,000 bucks. And other than that, well, they have the Fiat 500e, and that's definitely not competing with the Mach-E, is it? So, when buyers can't actually afford the trucks, they either avoid buying altogether or rely on risky loans. Missed payments lead to repossessions, and those repossessed trucks often get returned in poor condition, forcing dealers to sell them for far less money than they want to. The alternative, you guessed it, it's those auctions I mentioned, where brand new trucks are sold for pennies on the dollar. Adding fuel to this huge fire, dealers and manufacturers face a double-edged sword. Trucks priced too high alienate potential buyers, but discounting them deeply cuts into profit margins. For example, Stellantis, the parent company of Jeep, Dodge, and Ram, is reportedly considering cuts of 35% or more to regain market share. If Stellantis follows through on these cuts, it could push other manufacturers into a price war. Imagine a $20,000 reduction on a Ram truck. Suddenly a 70K truck is 50K. Ford and GM would have no choice to respond, forcing prices across the board down to levels more in line with customer expectations. At least we hope. So, what is next for the truck market? The harsh reality is that automakers, well, if they don't adapt, they're heading for trouble. The pendulum has to be swung back eventually, but how long is it going to take? Will automakers shift focus to more affordable, no-frills trucks? Or will they continue building luxury vehicles that most Americans just can't afford? Well, for starters, and the most obvious one, they need to lower their prices across the board. This whole business idea of selling each SUV or truck for a higher price to maximize profit on each unit is not working with the consumer anymore, and clearly not even for manufacturers either. Keeping their base model SUVs and trucks in that 30 to 40K range would do wonders for sales instead of having higher trims reach 50, 60, 70, 80, or even 100,000 bucks with markups. Another solution could lie in a wider range of what used to be called the preferred packages. They don't do this so much anymore, but the basic idea is having a set of dealer upgrades and options in a package tailored for a specific demographic. For example, California customers might not need sensing wipers, a bedline, and a ton of off-road modes for bad weather. But the guy in North Dakota, where it becomes a frozen hell for several months, might want all those things for everyday driving. And dealers in those specific markets could sell vehicles with those options that otherwise couldn't be spec'd a la carte. Another big one that brands must also focus on is fixing their EV strategies. The push for electrification is commendable, but it needs to somehow come with realistic pricing. Scaling back production on high-end EVs like the Hummer EV or Cybertruck in favor of more affordable mass market models could help attract a broader range of buyers. And consumers, they are speaking, but are automakers really listening? So while things like discounts and incentives can help move some inventory, that is not a long-term solution. Automakers need to listen to what consumers are saying. The demand for affordable, functional vehicles is loud and clear. Ignoring this demand leads to things like what Stellantis is going through right now. Those reported 35% price cuts, that isn't a let's try something new strategy. That's a holy fuck, we're in deep shit and we have no other option kind of strategy. And if those cuts do come, people will come back to dealerships for the low prices. But then manufacturers have to keep up with demand. And I don't know if you remember, but there has been a ton of layoffs in the last year for truck factories that would significantly hurt their chances of keeping up. For Ford and GM, well, they could end up in the same boat if they continue to price their vehicles so high. So trucks that sit on lots priced anywhere from 90 to 130 to 140K that they think people will buy, those are the exact kind of things that put Stellantis in their situation right now. For automakers, this represents a critical juncture. They can either embrace the challenges and adapt to consumer needs or continue down a path of prioritizing profit margins over market share. The choice they make will determine the future of the truck market and perhaps the auto industry as a whole. So here is the bottom line. For consumers, the advice is simple. If you can, be patient. If you're in the market for a truck, the current landscape suggests that prices may soon drop as manufacturers scramble to offload excess inventory. In fact, if you're in the market for a Ram, many of them are currently deeply discounted and they're poised to drop a bit further. So keep an eye on discounts, incentives, and auction opportunities, as these could provide significant savings. In the meantime, consider used trucks or more affordable models from foreign brands. As the industry adapts to changing market conditions, there's hope that the affordable truck could make a comeback. So what do you guys think about this whole mess? Should trucks be cheaper? Yeah, but let me know in the comments how this could all get fixed. I'm ready with the good, the bad, the ugly, and I'll get my popcorn ready. Also, if you enjoyed the vid, like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and check out these Ideal vids over here. I'm Brad, this is Ideal. We'll catch you next week, and promise me one thing, keep living the Ideal lifestyle.